Well, hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. It's Mike Parker and Artie Tafoya. How you doing, Artie?
I'm doing great, Mike. It's great to see you here today, and just glad we could get together before the holiday.
It's crazy, Artie. We were, I know things got a little bit cooler here. We're actually recording on mid-November, so like November 15th. So if anybody you can't quite remember a random Tuesday evening, it's the day that it snowed out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, big flakes too, Mike. They were some of them were the size of a small animal.
I know, no kidding. So the funny story is we've been doing a little bit of hunting lately. You know, it's deer season. It's like the archery season. We'll be looking for some wall hangers in the rifle season here coming up. That terminology will reference that here coming up related to beer in a minute. Wall hanger, but yeah, I mean, it's been hunting season. My son, he wanted to go out this evening, and we're lucky enough to have some property back behind the house where we can hunt easily. And man, it was started off as a little bit of sleet. Next thing you know, it's full on snow, and it was massive piles of ice on our clothing. And we were just like, it got dark at about 4:30, and we said, we got to get out of here. Right. There's no point. But yeah, what was it like over on the West Shore?
About the same, Mike. We got a lot of. It sort of sleeted for a while, and then it rained pretty heavily, and then those big flakes started coming down and accumulated a bit. But I think by here about an hour or two, it's probably going to clear up and
yes,
should be out of here that storm, and hopefully be a nice day tomorrow.
Well, just to be safe, instead of driving to Harrisburg and meeting you there, we're doing this over Zoom tonight, so. I got to tell my dog, who's squeaking a toy here behind me, to get out of the podcast. Come on, Moki.
He wasn't invited.
Not invited. But it's fun. So we didn't want to, excuse me, chance the roads. So it was a little slushy out there, if nothing else. So first winter precipitation of the season. It's nice to see. It's like we're creeping up on Thanksgiving, and that means Christmas is right around the corner. But when you're creeping up on the holidays like we are, it's an exciting time around the brewing company too. Tell us what you start thinking about with Thanksgiving.
Well, we're excited for the holidays. It's always a good time of year for us. We do a good amount of business over the holidays, and even in Harrisburg, we're really hoping for a good winter here. We haven't had one in a couple of years, so we're really hoping that we can get moving and have a good holiday season, go right into the farm show and then into sportsman show, and just keep the momentum going all the way through, till the spring. So we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah. Winter's a great time of year. It's a great time for beer. And with that, Artie, I say cheers to you, my friend, virtually here through the internet. I've got a nice tall glass. I'm hitting the keg here tonight with the Hinterland Hefeweizen. And what do you have, sir?
Well, yeah, I got the Chasing Shadows. Chasing Shadows, it's a New England style IPA, 7.3% alcohol, and we're down to the last case or two of this, but I'm really enjoying it, and it still tastes great.
Well, cheers here, Artie. Clink.
Cheers, clink.
Yeah, it was a quick throwback to our last episode. It's pretty fun. We were talking about all of your, RTD line, the ready-to-drink cocktails, and, the Moscow Mules. You've got the ranch water. They're in cans. They travel really easily, and I can't wait to share something like that every once in a while, especially after you load up on some turkey and a bunch of stuffing. Even a light beer can get heavy. You're already heavy, right? So maybe a cocktail in a can is the way to go.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that I've been enjoying that ranch water, especially when it was a little warmer out. Mow the lawn and, a good beer is good, but I was drinking that ranch water and it was really nice to sit down and relax after on a nice hot day. But, I think they're great any time of year. But I'm a beer guy, Mike. So that I'm gonna go there probably first, and just every once in a while you look at it and go, you know what? I think I'll venture over to the RTD line.
Yeah, well, what the other thing is, we had some guests on last week. It's just me and you this episode, but our friends from Funk, who you guys have been helping out with some canning. And I saw, along with many of your products, at a local distributor that I stopped in last week, I caught up with one of the beers that they talked about, their special brownie. That was the one that
how was that, Mike? I haven't had that yet.
It's really good. I would recommend checking out our friends over there. And I guess they're in Emmaus, and also over in E-Town. But yeah, special brownie. It has it's a sweet stout, and it has the hemp terpenes in it. So the way I would describe it is I was like, well, what's a terpene? Okay. So
did you have to look it up?
Of course I did. So basically the way I described it to my wife was I was like, well, terpene is, and you could probably describe this too, but they actually said, on the internet, Google told me that it's kind of like the base of kind of like what essential oils are made out of, like the very fragrant part of a plant or something. Right. So is that what that is?
We talk about it with hops now too. The terpenes from the hops.
Yes.
Going back and starting to pull those in, and some of these super aromatic beers, they're our brewmaster Bruce and Cliff. They talk about terpenes, and I really wasn't sure what they were talking about, but they know what they're talking about, and that's all that matters.
Well, so that's the way I would describe that. And I think if that's brewer talk, I won't get too much into it because it just makes me sound like I don't, but yeah, it's like a stout that kind of has a little bit of an aroma of cannabis, I guess, is the way that I would describe it. It's almost like you smell the hops off of that Chasing Shadows that you've got there. When you, instead of kind of smelling the hops, you kind of get if you're familiar with the odor, whether or not you partake or you've just been to a concert at Hershey Park, over the summer, everybody knows one way or the other what that aroma is.
Either the skunks are rampant there or something else is going on. I don't know.
Of course. Yes. There's not a gathering of, incense burners over there. Anyway. So just a quick shout out to those guys. They were fun to have on the podcast.
No, Mike, and I wanted to, tell you, I don't think you may not have heard, but there was a fire at their E-Town location.
Oh no!
About a week and a half ago, and it's just a bummer. Those guys are working so hard. And it's just that never needs to happen to a business. And we're just trying to be as supportive as we can. They're trying to get back open. I think they just got reopened, and the back area though was the one that was damaged the most. There's a bar in the back area and also a banquet area, and that's going to take them a little bit longer. And they're going right into the holiday season when they had a bunch of banquets booked, so they lost a lot of that business, and we feel horrible for them. But you know what? They'll persevere and they'll hang in there, and just I wish them the best and say a prayer for them.
Yeah, we will. Those guys were great. They're really funny, fun guys to talk to, and seem like they have a real passion. And that's, if you have if you can keep a positive attitude and have a passion for the beer, Artie, that's a pretty good way to start a company. So, as you know.
No doubt.
So, Artie, I know I stay pretty much local. I'm fortunate to have, both of my wife and my family, both of my wives. That's what that sounded like. I just have one wife. But anyway, luckily our families are both in the, driving distance of us. So it's sort of a big circle that we do, from, Dauphin County up to Schuylkill County and back. Where are you going? You're going a little bit further away for Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, we're going to do, every other year the best place to have Thanksgiving dinner is up in Rhode Island, and that's where Carrie's from. Her mom still lives up there, and that's that's where the pilgrims gather.
Yes.
So it's the history and not only that, just traditional Thanksgiving really happens up there. It's awesome. So we enjoy doing that, but we've also done it now every other year. We go down to Florida, and it's sort of weird. Initially, it was a little weird for me because Thanksgiving's supposed to be a little bit cooler out, maybe a little snow, maybe not, but definitely not 80s and sunny. And maybe running around, golfing and doing other things. But it's something that we've sort of embraced, and we've enjoyed it every other Thanksgiving for the last few years.
Yeah. Well, what ends up happening with us is again, to get back to, just traditions, we have Thanksgiving. Like, we get to see my parents, we get to see my wife's mom and her family. And then once Thanksgiving's over, me and my son are heading up to hunting camp, because deer season starts, the rifle season here in Pennsylvania, which is what everybody calls the opening day of deer season, is on a Saturday now. So you used to get the whole weekend, and then you'd have that opening Monday, but now it's on you get to hunt Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So the kids are off school through Monday. So we get a few days, to go up to our cabin up in Center County. I'll be passing by those billboards that you guys have up on 322. So I'm looking forward to that. And, that's what I'll be doing. I'll be taking, I'm looking for a beer to take up to deer camp. Artie, any ideas?
You bet. Like, the best beer out right now that we've just released is called Wall Hanger. It's a collab beer we did with Big Truck, and it is a Vienna lager, and it is amazing. It's got that really nice round maltiness to it, but then also it just finishes with a crisp dryness. It's man, I had a couple cans of it the other day, and I was like, I got to grab me a good case of this.
Nice. So Vienna lager, the style, where does that come from, and how familiar are you with brewing that? You guys have had a Vienna lager around ABC for years?
We've made one in the past. It wasn't called Wall Hanger. We did this one sort of more as a hunting style beer. They say that Yuengling lager is sort of in that style. Okay. If you hear of the Mexican lagers, the idea is that people from Vienna a lot of them moved to Mexico, and that's that Dos Equis is considered a Vienna style lager.
Okay.
And some of those beers, but it's sort of that amberish lager, has a nice round maltiness to it, but it should finish quite dry and crisp.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to that. And that's in cans as well.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah, the camo cans.
Yeah. Well, when you get up to the cabin, you're kind of stacking beers on top of other things like bologna and cheese and, whatever people bring up to the like whatever random, salty meats and things like that end up as the cabin is sort of an indulging, experience. It's like, there's a lot of guys who create, we just picked up a bunch of deer bologna from a deer that we got here in the family. My daughter actually shot her first deer a few weeks ago, wow. which was really fun. Sure. And we have a bunch of bologna, so I'll be taking that up. And then there's a guy who he catches trout all summer long, and then he smokes them, and he makes this ball of and then you spread it onto crackers and stuff, and then there's a guy who makes. You ever hear of soup?
Cheese ball?
Kind of like that, but it's but it's like fish. It's like a fish spread type deal. Wow. It's like smoked trout. And then, have you ever heard of soupies? Have you ever run into?
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, so soupies those are a big thing. It's kind of like pepperoni, right? It's like a homemade. I don't know. I had them when I was a kid, so I'm familiar with what a soupy is. Most people are like, I don't know what that is, but it's just like I guess it's like it's kind of like pepperoni, right?
Yeah, it's like pepperoni, but they're usually flattened. So they're not round. They're usually sort of oblong shaped.
It's sort of shaped like an 8 or something.
Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah,
or an infinity symbol.
Yeah, that's right.
Because if you eat too much of it, you'll be in the bathroom for infinity.
Maybe.
It's like a greasy like pepperoni type thing, but it's flat and they're delicious.
It's usually a little spicier. I've noticed a little more spicy than pepperoni.
Yeah.
A little heavier on the spice, which is just fine with me.
I would love to meet somebody who makes it to teach me how to make it. I don't know. It just seems like one of those things that I always, whenever it's around, I'm like, yes, give me one of those soupies there. I love that stuff.
I think if you and I got together, Mike, we could make some soupy. I might have to pull in one of our chefs.
Cool.
We could probably figure it out. I heard that they press them between boards.
Yeah.
And they put cinder blocks on the boards.
Right.
And then they press them, and then you just hang them and let them age forever.
Yep.
From what I understand. And sometimes I've also heard that they soak them in oil.
Yeah, they're definitely oily. Like I said, they're kind of oily. Yeah, when they. Yeah. Well, we're describing something that if you don't know what it is, you're like, "What is this?" It's a
I'm not eating that.
You take some meat and you squash it under a board and some 2x4s and soak it in oil. Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, maybe you and I should stick to beer.
I don't know, man. They make these soupies and Vienna style lager sounds like a meal to me. I like that. It's at least a good deer camp snack. That's all right. We're going to take a quick break on the podcast, and when we come back, I don't know. I mean, hey, we have a little bit of time here. Hopefully, if you're catching this episode before Thanksgiving, maybe we'll see what your Thanksgiving meal is like versus what my Thanksgiving meal is like, and maybe a beer or two to pair with what we're going to eat. So we'll do that when we come back. It's Mike and Artie on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. All right, and we're back on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. It's Mike Parker and Artie DeFoya, and we're meeting up virtually here to the virtual brew pub tonight, Artie.
That's right, the virtual podcast.
Yes. Well, I mean, a lot of podcasts are done that way. I just think me and you like the excuse to get together, have a beer, have something to eat, maybe, and like catch up. But it's kind of like us hanging out once a month, and then if anybody else wants to listen to what we have to say, that's cool with us.
So, yeah, that's right. Yeah. There's some fans, Mike. I run into people all the time. They're like, "Hey, when are you guys doing the podcast next?" I'm like, "Do you actually listen?" Oh man, I haven't missed an episode. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that there's some mug clubbers out there, or some people that follow you on social that are aware of the podcast. So yeah, I mean, we definitely, if you guys ever get back into the beer, the beer fest business, if you ever have another one, we got to do another live podcast because those are so much fun. They are
to bring in some of the brewers and have them come up and talk, and it's great. You get all the characters.
Yes,
and we've got some in this business.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so Artie, I'm looking at heading up to my mom's house for lunch next Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. We're pretty traditional up there. It's like, she will make a small ham. She'll make some sort of either turkey or some sort of chicken. So you got the ham and you got the bird, and then you got, the traditional sides. You're talking like sweet potatoes, some sort of like green bean casserole, and some bread, and the butter shaped like the turkey and everything else. And it's cool. And, if you're sitting there, you're going to chase that meal down, a beer is a good way to do it. What do you think? I mean, based on that regular profile of a traditional Thanksgiving dinner with the sides and the gravy, what's something that you would enjoy that you would recommend for people to pair with Thanksgiving dinner?
Well, it is a traditional meal, so you're going to probably end up sticking with those more traditional style beers. Mm-hmm. I'd always start off with a nice beer that's not going to fill you up too much in the beginning. Right. A nice light lager, mountain lager would be a good one to start with. Get you so you're just primed up and ready to start eating, right? And then,
yes,
I like, when you said sweet potatoes, and I'm not a big sweet potato fan, but I can't imagine anything better than a Jolly Scott with sweet potatoes.
That's it, man. That's my go-to. I was going to say, yes, maybe pregame the meal with a lager.
That's right.
But once you start digging in, definitely when you got the sweet potatoes and the gravy, go to the Jolly Scott. So that's definitely a good pairing. Yes.
And then at the end of the meal, you're starting getting down, you're starting to get a little full here. I'm going to drink a nice Sigma Oasis, just something that's got that nice floral aroma to finish your meal up. Finish your plate. Maybe not get seconds yet. Wait for a couple hours to get seconds.
Right.
And then cranberry, anything dessert wise, depending on what you're using for. We have, of course, our espresso stout, which will keep you awake. It'll counteract the chemicals in the turkey that make you sleepy.
No kidding. There you go. Caffeine, right?
Yeah, a little caffeine in there with the espresso stout, right? And then I really wish it was finished, but next year it will be. But our cranberry, jellied cranberry sour is coming out. It's going to come out here probably. It'll probably make it for Christmas dinner, but not Thanksgiving dinner. But a nice cranberry sour would be great to top off the meal. And then I just wait a couple hours and do the whole thing over again.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I have an idea, because some of us are, look, you get into this time of year, it's tempting. There are those among us who don't want to overeat. If there's a day for overeating, it's Thanksgiving. So, if that's it's the ultimate cheat day, that's cool. But if you're thinking about having, filling up on all the turkey and the fixins, but maybe skip dessert, I have an idea. You have a great dessert beer out there right now that I just saw on the shelf at a local distributor that I know we tried with, Cliff last year, the Midnight Refrigerator, right? Tell me, that's a pastry.
Oh yeah, that's coming out in December. It's a pastry stout, and this year we're doing it in the version of a cannoli.
Oh, nice!
The chocolate chip cannoli, that creaminess from the filling, a little bit of toastiness from the shell.
Yeah,
some chocolate in there because sometimes they dip the cannolis in chocolate a little bit, and then chocolate chips in the cream. The whole thing, and the guys were working on it today, and they were like, "You got to stop in the brewery and try this. It tastes just like a cannoli." So
nice.
I'm excited to go over and get a chance to check it out.
So last year it was the cherry cheesecake. This year you're kind of reinventing the Midnight Refrigerator into a cannoli style stout.
Yeah, because it's a pastry stout. So doing the same one every year is. It's one of the things that our guys get to go out and venture out and do some things. They used a bakery in Mechanicsburg to actually get I think they got like 150 cannolis to put in the batch.
Nice.
So that got thrown in there along with vanilla and all sorts of different unique flavors that they put in there to give that cannoli flavor in the beer.
Beautiful. Well, that sounds delicious. I will be looking for that. And you said that's coming out in December?
Yeah, first week of December should be out.
That's great. Perfect. Yeah. So I will be looking for that in cans and around the brew pub. And I don't want to get ahead. You warned me earlier not to get ahead on the holidays here, but I could see that maybe around Christmas dinner would be a great way to round that. Maybe while opening some presents. Yeah,
I think that'd be a great beer for Christmas dinner, and that afternoon dinner. Do you do Thanksgiving dinner in the afternoon or the evening?
We do. We do two, right? So we do a lunch. We do lunch with my mom, and then we drive. We stick around there for about 3 hours, and then we drive an hour to my wife's family, and then we hang out there, and we have kind of like sandwiches and we take, because they've also had a lunch with other people.
Oh, okay.
So then we kind of break the stuff out again and hit it and kind of put everything on a bun or whatever you want to do. But that's kind of what we do.
So how do you make your, either second meal,
yes,
turkey sandwich or the next day turkey sandwich? How do you do it?
Yeah, well, it's like the same thing. I mean, it depends. So, if there was, you're eating that stuff for lunch and then you're putting it back in the fridge for a little while. And then around dinner time, you bring it all back out, but now you're not putting it on a plate like you were before. It's a little bit less formal. We're hanging out. There's some slices of bread around. There's some cheese. There's some, pickles and stuff on the side. And then there's like the ham or the turkey is sliced. You throw that on. I mean, if there's stuffing, I'm putting the stuffing and the cranberry stuff right on the bun too. Is that what you're talking about? Kind of like
exactly. A lot of people will basically make, Thanksgiving dinner right on a sandwich.
Yeah.
I think you got to use sourdough bread. That's my go-to.
It holds it well.
I'm not a big, I don't know why, Mike, but I'm not a big sweet with savory. Unless it's like sweet and sour sauce or something like that. Right. I can do that a little bit more. But so I can't put the cranberry on there, but I could surely put stuffing and some gravy on there.
Oh, yeah.
Some turkey, salt and pepper, mayo, and pile it up good and just go at it.
Yes. Well, my parents have gotten into the sort of empty nest syndrome. They've been there for a while. So, but mom tends to overcook, and then she has a bunch of leftovers. And since we're going to another meal, we're not inclined really to take a bunch of food with us. So she's learned to try to, scale things down here over the years. But when you live in a house where you've got kids or you have guests around and you have a lot of people for dinner, having the leftovers is definitely essential for the next day or two, right?
Yeah. How many sandwiches can you have after Thanksgiving? You limit it to like 6?
Yeah. Well, like you said, man, sandwich paired with a beer, something like that would be perfect. And I think it's important to pregame the meal with say lunch isn't going to start. Thanksgiving dinner doesn't start till noon or 1 for some people. So around 11 is when you arrive. And then that's when you kind of have a couple of beers and catch up and, help mom. And she's all stressed out because she's pulling the turkey out of the oven. She's been up all night, they say. And then when you sit down, you transition into something a little bit more paired with the food. Yeah.
I'm the turkey carver in our family.
Oh,
I don't know how I got that job.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at it. But so I go at the turkey, and then when I'm done, there's like a perfect carcass sitting on there. I've pulled every piece of meat off of that thing.
Yeah.
And there's enough turkey to last for a while. We get our turkey usually from Carrie's friend up in Rhode Island. She has a turkey farm, so you can actually go and oh yeah, I want that one. And who knows if that's the one you really get or not, but it makes you feel better about it that you picked it out and it's fresh as can be.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's like people do that with lobster. If you can do that with a turkey,
yeah, that's right.
I spend days picking out deer that
That's right.
So like sometimes
I want that one.
We all want that one. So sometimes you don't even get that. At least you get the turkey.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, listen, Artie, it's been fun catching up. I think we're going to keep the podcast at 2 segments this time because I have a time limit here when we're doing things virtually here with this Zoom, and it looks like we're counting down to about 90 seconds. I want to leave you. I always give you the last word.
To all those who have supported us and those with our company that have supported our customers, I just want to say thank you, and we really appreciate having you around. We love everybody, and we really look forward to getting through the holidays and a good year in 2023.
Well, I'll be there, Artie. I really look forward to getting in there, picking up some ABC products, pairing them with my Thanksgiving dinner, maybe grabbing something on Black Friday around that time that I can tuck away as a stocking stuffer or an all-out gift for somebody who really loves your products as well. Wherever we travel throughout the holiday season, I'm taking some ABC swag and some ABC beverages with me. It's been a great thing for a few decades at this point, so.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. We appreciate your business, and you're a great friend. Thank you.
All right, Artie. Well, I've got just a little bit. Admittedly, I had a very large glass, before we started the podcast. So here, I'm going to finish this off here with you. But I want to say a virtual cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving to you and to your family. Safe travels. To all of you who are listening, of course, you can keep up with Appalachian Brewing Company online, Facebook, social media, most importantly, the website, abcbrew.com, for all of your up-to-date events, beer offerings, menu additions, things that make your experience better when you plan ahead and know what you can look for when you're out in the marketplace, wherever you buy fine beverages. So to Artie, again, thanks a lot, man. We'll catch you next time when it'll be Santa will be coming down that chimney.
See you, Mike.
All right. See you, Artie.